So it's time for December's Games of Gold, and we've got a load of awesome free games for you to get your hands on with your Xbox Live Gold subscription. So let's take a look at what you can get this month. Cast your mind back to late September 2013. What were you doing? Chances are you were causing havoc in San Andreas in Grand Theft Auto 5. Most of us were. Poor old Marlo Briggs arrived on Xbox Live Arcade just 3 days after GTA 5 was launched, which is why you've probably not heard of Zoot Fly's action hero. It also makes this month's Games with Gold the perfect opportunity to get to know this underrated adventure. Weirdly, it starts with the death of Marlo Briggs. This is usually bad news for a human, but in Briggs' case, he's stabbed by a mystical artifact that brings him back from the dead as a powerful warrior. He's now able to hack and slash through armies of mercenaries, he can push incredibly heavy objects and cause fire to rain from the skies. He makes being dead look frankly brilliant. I'm not sure why we mess around with this whole being alive thing. The game's one of those bombastic hack and slashers like God of War or Dante's Inferno. It's all about stringing together massive combos with massive weapons, which earns you mystic energy that powers magical attacks. What I like about the game is how quickly it keeps everything moving. 1 second you're on stable ground, the next you're fighting on top of a plummeting chairlift. 5 minutes later, you're shooting down helicopters in a gun turret or jumping around the factory as the moving parts try to kill you. At times, it feels like Zoot Fly is trying to cram a massive action epic into an Xbox Live Arcade game. And while that may sound a bit overambitious, it means that the game whips along at a hilarious pace. You rarely go for a minute without everything exploding around you, or Briggs learning a new power to unleash for the 10 minutes before he learns another. The game can be polished off in 6 hours, but it feels like you've seen enough set pieces to fill a whole summer of movie blockbusters. Of course, it's not all crash, bang, wallop. I also love these scenes where the game stops to take a breath and the camera moves around combat scenes in bullet time. It's a really cool effect that I'm surprised it hasn't been used elsewhere. So definitely give Marlo Briggs a go this December. It's a game I never heard of before, but it's an absolute blast. December's Games with Gold also gives you Warhammer Endtimes Vermintide, which is designed to be a co-op first-person shooter within the Warhammer universe, where you go up against the Skaven, which are giant rats, something you definitely don't want around your house during the festive season. You'll have 5 heroes from which to choose from: the Empire Soldier, who I decided to play as, the Witch Hunter, Dwarf Ranger, Way Watcher, and then our editor Kieran's favourite, the Bright Wizard. Each hero has a range of different skills, making them perform better in certain scenarios, but also meaning you can have a lot of fun throughout December trying out all the different heroes with your friends, as the game is designed to be played in co-op, so make sure you get everyone to download it for free this month. The game's also fairly similar to Left 4 Dead, but rather than hordes of zombies, there's thousands of giant rats, some which are scarily big and look like Pinky and the Brain on steroids. At the end of each level, you'll earn loot to help improve your heroes, but do make sure to let me know down in the comments below which hero you're going to play as, but until then, just enjoy hitting rats in the face with your giant hammer. Now, the Christmas holidays are the perfect time to sit back on the couch and binge all those TV box sets, but I'd add Telltale's Back to the Future game to that list. It requires a little more input than 10 hours of Netflix Punisher, but it tells a great story as it goes. Picking up after the final Back to the Future film, it sees Marty McFly pulled into a whole new era by his time-traveling DeLorean. What's more, because the story had input from one of the film's writers, it really does feel like a proper continuation of the movies. It has all those twists as tiny actions in the past snowball into different versions of the future. I won't spoil any of them here, but the game takes some very unexpected turns. The authenticity of the game is helped by some great performances from the original cast. Christopher Lloyd voices Doc Brown, and Thomas F. Wilson plays notorious bully Biff Tannen. Amazingly, Marty McFly isn't voiced by Michael J. Fox, but the guy they hired to impersonate him is so realistic, I couldn't believe it wasn't actually him. Listen to this if you don't believe me.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine Out of a DeLorean?
That is an amazing impression. In fact, the whole game is a great impression of the films, packed with references and in-jokes for the hardcore fans, and telling a great story that will make newcomers want to dig out the original movies. It may lack the brutal moral decisions of Telltale's newer games like The Walking Dead, but I'm not sure Back to the Future would benefit from its lovable characters dying in gruesome quick-time events. And finally, we have Child of Eden, which was one of the first games to support the Xbox 360 Kinect back in 2010, where you were able to use your hands to lock onto the enemies. Now, one thing that I will say is that the Child of Eden is quite possibly one of the most bright, trippy games that I've ever played. The game's objective is to shoot various objects that appear on screen by locking onto them if they're orange targets or using rapid fire for purple targets, and when you destroy them, they produce musical effects very similar to the game Aero. The games are a lot of fun and especially trippy, and it's not too long to complete either, so make sure you go ahead and give it a go and just get yourself some extra gamer score. So there we have it. Those are the free games that you can pick up this month with your Games of Gold. Do make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Let us know which your favorite game is down in the comments below, and drop a thumbs up on the video as well. We'll see you next time. Bye.